and welcome to the latest episode of the Scott Ball podcast. And today it's a very special episode, the first international footballer I've ever had the pleasure of speaking to. It's Kian Ronan, who is an international player for Gibraltar. First of all, thanks very much, Kian, for joining me ahead of the Scotland game against Gibraltar in Faro next week. First of all, Kian, I'd just like to ask you about growing up playing football as a boy. How did you get introduced to football, and what are your earliest memories?
Well, as early as I can kind of remember, really. Maybe as soon as I could walk, I was kicking a ball. I mean, I've got an older brother who's massively into football as well, and yeah, he kind of set me on my way. And then obviously my dad and my granddad as well, all big influences on me. So yeah, from a real young age, that's all I've really known is just football.
Love that. And when did you know that you had a chance of playing at a good level?
Well, quite early on, to be fair, because I got picked up by Ipswich at the academy when I was probably, I think, 8 years old. So from 8 for the next 10 years, I was in an academy setup and thought, oh, I've got half a good chance here, really.
Nice, and you must have had good memories at Ipswich. The club just been promoted back to the Premier League. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, brilliant, really good to see. Obviously, I've still got a couple of mates there, but yeah, a real sleeping giant of a football club, and yeah, deserve everything they've got right now.
Nice one. And as for Gibraltar then, Kian, can you talk us through your link to Gibraltar and how you were eligible to play for the national team? Because I saw that you played for Gibraltar all the way through the youth ranks and then eventually became a full international. Yeah,
so I qualified via my mum and my grandparents. So she was born on the Rock, both grandparents born on the Rock. So yeah, that's my qualification. Yeah, like you said, I played, I think under 16 or under 15 was the earliest age group I started at, and yeah, just kind of worked my way through and stayed in the system, and yeah, made my debut at 19 a few years back. So yeah, I've kind of been through it all, seen it all, grown up with a lot of the boys, and there's a good probably 7, 8, 9 of us that have played together at each age group and are now in the senior team, which is really good.
Nice. And I saw that, correct me if I'm wrong, you've got 31 caps today, is that correct?
Yeah, 31 today.
31 caps. And you only just turned 23, so I was thinking to myself, is it an ambition of yours to hit that 100 cap mark? Is that something that would be a dream?
Yeah, definitely. Like, there's a few of the lads that are of a similar age, a year above, a year below, and we've all in and around that 30-40 mark, and we've all kind of said we want to be, well, one of us to be the first one to get to 100. So yeah, that's the aim. But I think obviously you can't look too far ahead, just kind of take game by game, get to 35, get to 40, and there, take it from there. But yeah, 100 is definitely a dream for any footballer, really, isn't it?
Yeah, to be able to say you're 100 times capped international, what an honour that would be.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I looked into your career a bit, and it seems that you've played all over the pitch, in both in midfield and in defence. What would you say is your best position, and how would you describe your game?
I mean, yeah, growing up, I was quite a versatile player. That's what I was kind of labelled as, really. But I'd say the last couple of seasons I've been more as a right back or a right wing back, and I've kind of made that position a bit my own, especially at Kings Lynn this year. I've played a lot of games at right wing back, and I feel quite comfortable there. So yeah, I can do a job in midfield, out on the wing, like you said. I've played a handful of positions, but if I'm honest, if I just get on the pitch, I'm happy. I'll do a job anywhere, as long as I'm playing football at the end of the day.
Nice one. And looking ahead to the game, I believe you play Scotland and Wales next week. So looking at first at the Scotland game. For Scotland supporters who might listen to this, how would you describe the way Gibraltar play, and what players of your teammates would you say that we should look out for that you think are really talented?
I mean, our style of play, I'd refer to it as we like to go into games to frustrate teams. Obviously, we know Scotland's such a huge nation, Wales as well, that we're not going to be dominating possession, so we're going to try and make it as hard as we can for the opposition. In terms of individual players, I'd say obviously Liam Walker being the legend for the national team, he can kind of create something out of nothing. TJ DeVar as well, really explosive, exciting player, and Ethan Brito as well out on the left. So yeah, they're probably the three to keep an eye on. But yeah, it'll be a tough game, but we'll be giving everything we've got to try and cause a bit of an upset.
Nice one. Just to talk a bit about the level that you would gauge yourself at. I know you played for Lincoln Red Imps, who fans in Scotland will be aware of because they've actually beaten Celtic and also played Rangers, and now you play at Kings Lynn in National League North. Is that correct? Northern Premier League? Is that correct?
National League North, yeah.
So the national team, Gibraltar, if you were to gauge them kind of the English football pyramid, where would you kind of put the national team?
I don't know. It's quite a tough question, really. We had that conversation a few times before.
Yeah.
We do it at club level, but I don't know. It's hard to say, mate. I wouldn't want to put a label on it.
Yeah, no, but what we'd say, I actually read an article, an interview you did a few years back where I think somebody asked you about the San Marino manager once played England and they said a 5-0 defeat would be a good result for them, and you said that you hate that and that your manager and the coaches that you have at Gibraltar always say it's 11v11 and that you'll take the game to everyone. Is that something that you as a group of players pride yourselves on?
Yeah, of course. Like you said, I had that question come up a couple of years ago, and it's one that we hate because obviously, if you're going into a game with absolutely no belief, then there's no real point in going out and playing. Like I said in the previous interview, our manager and our coaches and staff have always said that nothing's ever given in football. It's always 11v11, anything could happen. And it might be a 1% chance we'll win the game of football, but there's still a 1% chance. So we'll prepare everything we have. And I'd like to think none of the boys would ever go into a game just willing to roll over thinking, oh, we'll just get through it and get by. We'd always leave everything we've got. And if there's not enough, we've done our best and done what we can do. So that's what we do at the end of the day.
Absolutely, it's the best attitude to have. And looking across your 31 caps, Kian, what are your best memories so far of pulling on the Gibraltar shirt?
Best memories. The debut was a special day. Obviously, being the first one coming on 1-0 up against San Marino, that was a good day. Obviously, we got promoted from our Nations League group, which going into the final group game against Liechtenstein, we needed a point to gain promotion, and that was actually my first competitive start. And obviously that was such a huge day for the country and the football as a whole. So that was a really good day. But yeah, even like the likes of playing Holland and France and stuff like that, huge teams which I can only look back with fond memories, to be honest. So yeah, I've had quite a fair few.
Nice when you spoke about matches against France and Netherlands there. Is there any particular stadium that you've played in that you thought, wow, like the atmosphere was amazing and the stadium itself was amazing to play in?
Yeah, we've had... It's quite annoying because as I was coming through and made my debut, it was still like in the heat of COVID. So we played a lot of games behind closed doors. But I think the first one where it kind of hit me like, oh, this is like something special was Holland away in the Queep, which I might be wrong, but I think
is it Feyenoord?
Feyenoord Stadium, that's it. And I think that was a sellout of 40-odd thousand fans, and that was really like walking out and having our national anthem play in front of all those fans. That was a real special moment. I love that, to be fair.
Nice one. In terms of the group at the moment, you and your teammates, what kind of goals do you set yourselves? Obviously, it's going to be very difficult for Gibraltar to qualify for a major tournament, but I guess you'll always want to improve, always want to get more competitive. What are the kind of aims that you have together?
I mean, yeah, like you said, it'd be very difficult to qualify for a major tournament, but I think with the new Nations League campaign, that's huge for nations like us, because obviously it groups us against similar ranked opposition, which, looking to the back end of this year, we're back in a group with San Marino and Liechtenstein. So those games, obviously for the rest of European football, won't look at it as a big game, but for us, those are massive. And our main aim is, like we did back in 2020, to win those games, top the group and get out of League D again. So that'll be our immediate aim.
That's cool to hear. Like yourself, Scotland fans know how important Nations League is. As you say, it's helped us qualify before. And we know, I think a lot of the top nations sneer a bit at it, but we know that down the levels it does help teams a lot. And am I right in saying that you played Lithuania in a two-legger and you lost, was it narrowly both times? And Lithuania have caused Scotland problems, so it shows that you're playing at a good level.
Yeah, 2-1-0 results against Lithuania back in March. But yeah, even like I said, there is a path from the Nations League to qualify for major tournaments. Like it was Georgia that just done it. Georgia just beat, was it Greece on penalties, I think, in the end? They've now qualified for the major tournament, which is unbelievable for them. And they're not a million miles away from us rankings-wise. And like I said, we've played them a few times, had some really close results against them. But we've spoken about that a lot, that there is a Nations League path, so we need to obviously be as high as we can in that, and then if we can, maybe pull off one of the biggest upsets ever.
Yeah, is that something that you speak about in terms of, as a group, is an aim for you to pull off that one big upset against a big nation or a team that's higher ranked? Because that's something that people could speak about for years, you know.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, nearly every team we play is higher ranked than us, obviously. But yeah, if you go into a game thinking, like, I think it was back in last June, we were at the Aviva playing Ireland, and we got in at half time at 0-0, and we were talking as a group, saying like, it's 45 minutes away from history here, really. And it would have been our first point in World Cup qualifying, and obviously it would have been a massive shock across European football. That, but we've held a few teams to nil for quite a while in the game. But like you said, we just need to try and get over that line and cause a real big upset against, like I say, hopefully the biggest nation we can. Yeah,
I'm sure you'll get there one day. Say if you were 0-0 against Ireland, that's not far away at all. And you mentioned there Georgia. I saw in your interview as well that you played against. It's a difficult name to say. I'm not going to get you to say it, but Kvaratskhelia for Napoli.
Yeah,
I just want to ask you. I'm sure that you'll all sometimes, as a team, when you go on, you play against these big players. You're fascinated to play against them. It's a great opportunity. But what was it like to play against him? And what are the other players that when you come up against, you thought, wow, like that's the top level?
Yeah, we So we played Georgia. Well, I've played Georgia twice, and the first time was in it was in a June window, so it was in the summer, and he hadn't quite broken through into Napoli like he did towards the end of the season. And I remember coming off the pitch at the end of the game, thinking, "Who is that winger?" Because he tore us apart that day, to be honest. And then
wait, so you played against him before everyone knew about him?
So yeah, before he kind of broke through and had the run he had in the league and the Champions League, we played him a few months before, and then obviously when we played them again, the second group game in, I think it was October, November, he was like right at the peak of his powers at the time, and we was then covered, like we were gearing up for it. We knew who he was, and yeah, he was a real top player. But I think it's quite a question that comes up a lot, like who's the best player you played against, and obviously there's been a lot of big names, but I always go to this Frankie de Jong at Holland. Because I was up against him in midfield, and I just remember thinking, like, he's making this game look incredibly easy while I can't get near him. But I got absolutely blowing, thinking, and he weren't even breaking a sweat. And he played centre half in the second half, and it just made it look really easy. Some of the passes he was pulling off, and we were playing quite deep, and he still managed to find some spaces in behind us. And he's probably the one I go to. Then obviously you've got the likes of Mbappe and Haaland as well. But I always think Frankie de Jong really made me think, yeah, there's levels to this game.
That's cool insight there, Frankie de Jong's very fun player to watch as well. Just on that, you say you've played against Mbappe and Haaland. What a thing to say! But on that, obviously you and your teammates are international footballers, but you must watch the likes of Mbappe and Haaland playing for PSG and Man City and aspire to be like them. Is there a sense of feeling a bit starstruck when you're on that pitch, or once you cross the line, is it business and you don't think about that kind of thing?
No, yeah, exactly that. So once draws have been made, you then kind of speak as lads like, we're going to play against like France, Holland, Norway, all these teams. But once we get into training and we know what our jobs are, at the end of the day, you're just 11 footballers. And like we'll line up in the tunnel, and you realise who these players are. And like we've stepped up against France, but you think as soon as you go onto that pitch, you don't think of who he is or who they are. You just think, well, you're not getting past me. I'm going to do everything I can to stop you from doing what you want to do, and vice versa. So, but looking back, once it's all said and done, it's cool. Yeah, like get some photos or whatever. But yeah, during the game and during training, the build-up and stuff, if we sit there talking about them in awe, then it's showing far too much respect, and that's just not the way to go about it, really.
100%. And yeah, just on that, like, I'm just wondering, is there a kind of protocol within the team with regards to getting a shirt after the game? Is it who asks gets, or how do you all go about it? Do you have any memorable ones that you've picked up along the way?
I wouldn't say there's any protocol or anything. It's kind of just as it happens. If it happens, it is what it is. Like, you don't really go out your way massively to try and get a shirt, but yeah, I've got a couple. The probably biggest name I've picked up is De Ligt at Holland. That's probably my favourite one. But yeah, I don't go into games thinking, whose shirt am I going to go for after the game? I'm more worried about getting the performance done. If it comes, great. If not, then still with the experience of playing against the guys. So,
definitely. And is there any nation that you, in particular, you would like to draw? Obviously, it must be quite an exciting moment when the Euros and World Cup draws come around. Is there any nation in particular you would love to face?
I'd love to play England. England will be good. I have always wanted to play Scotland as well. That'd be quite exciting. Because I've got a few friends from up in Scotland, so that'd be good. Yeah, I think England or some of the older boys have played Belgium before, and they said that was a real good experience. I'd like Belgium. And yeah, if I could handpick one, I'd probably pick England just to play at Wembley. That'd be good.
Yeah, it'd be amazing for your family as well.
Yeah.
Just on the Scotland game then, is there any particular players that you really rate and you're excited to come up against?
Oh, well, that's pretty much a star-studded lineup, really, isn't it, for us? Like, majority of the players playing in First Division of Scotland and the Premier League. Obviously, the headline name of Andy Robertson will be good. But yeah, like I said, we're not going to sit here and be like in awe of all the players, but it'll be a good experience when it's all said and done. And obviously, with you guys having that as your warm-up game for the Euros, it'd be like quite a good experience to say that. Have you guys got Germany in the opening game? Am I right in saying?
Yeah, Germany opening game, yeah.
So obviously to think that you'll be playing us and a couple of weeks later you're opening up the European Championships would be quite a cool thing to say. But yeah, obviously we've got a couple of Liverpool fans in the squad, so I'm sure they'll be really excited to play up against Robertson.
No, definitely. And I read that you were keen to move from Gibraltar back to have another chance playing in English football. Kian, what are your aspirations in the game? As you say that there's a goal for you to reach that 100 cap mark. That'd be a dream. But in terms of your club career, do you have any goals as to what level you'd like to play, or just to work hard and improve as much as you can?
Yes, at the minute I'm at Kingston in the National League North. Yeah, don't get me wrong, I've got my own personal aspirations and levels that I want to get to, which I'll keep to myself. But like I said, just take it day by day, season by season, just try and keep building as much as I can. And I'm sure wherever I get, the highest level I get to is what my hard work will owe me. So
nice one. Yeah, it's been really fascinating to chat to you. There is one theme on this podcast. So I was wondering if you could put together an 11 of players that you played against in your career. It doesn't have to be the biggest names, but even the ones that have impressed you, or you've got a memory that they've been nice to you, or something like that.
Okay, yeah. I could just name the France starting 11. That'd be enough, wouldn't it? Yeah. I'd go in goal. Probably Tim Krul. He played against us for Holland. That was good. I think I'd go Dumfries at right back for Holland. He was just a machine because I was up and he was just another level. I'd probably take the Liverpool centre half pairing of Konate and Van Dijk, obviously with France and Holland. Left back. Who plays left back? It probably then goes Theo Hernandez as well from France. Front three, I'd take Haaland and Mbappe, and I'll tell you what, on his day, Kingsley Coman was good when he played against us. Kingsley was very good. And a midfield three, so Frankie de Jong's got to be in there. He's my favourite I've played against. Who else? Wijnaldum was very good. He just kept everything so simple, but it was very good. And I've never actually been through and done this. We always speak about it, I've never done it. Another midfielder. I don't know who played. Oh, the lad from Turkey. Is it Çalhanoğlu?
Okay, yeah, Çalhanoğlu, yeah.
Is he still at Inter Milan or AC Milan? One of the
believe so, yeah, Inter Milan, yeah.
Yeah, he was. We held them to 0-0, and then they brought him on, and I think Yilmaz on, and that just completely turned the game. That's all they needed, really.
Yeah, he said he had an amazing season, I think, for Inter. And you say that Frankie de Jong's number one?
Yeah, obviously he's probably not the biggest name I've played, but in terms of who I've found the most difficult to play against, I'd pick Frankie de Jong, I think.
Nice one. Top man. Anyway, you've been very generous with your time, Kian. I know you're training. Hopefully don't train too hard before you play Scotland, but yeah, you've been really kind with your time, and I wish you all the best, and I wish Gibraltar all the best.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much. Cheers. Thank you.